So let's talk about 5 things that we learned from the teaser, okay guys? But before we get to that, I just need to thank Legend, X and B, and Sammy for the donations that we had today. You guys are awesome. I mean, Legend is just literally a legend. He donated like a lot of money, so we are almost getting there, guys. We already have like almost halfway, so let's keep it going. If you want to, of course, you can help the channel. The money that I'm getting is for a new GPU to improve the quality of the channel. But yeah, you can donate with the link in the description if you want to, of course. And let's get into it. I have 5 things that we learned from the teaser. The first thing is that, of course, we are confirming that something that was already leaked, but the best feature, in my opinion, of this update, and for a very long time, to be honest, one of the best things they added so far in the game for a very, very long time, which is multi-vehicle AA systems, guys. There will be basically 3 things that we learned from this confirmation with the teaser, but this is the first one. That the feature itself of multi-vehicle AAs is just basically the best thing ever, because they actually open up the floor for many new AA systems, and not only AA systems, you know, there are other types of vehicles in the future that can be added because of this, right? So voice crack there, Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's just an incredible thing. I don't know how this will work. We'll probably see it tomorrow with the dev stream and dev server. By the way, you should expect these things to come tomorrow, okay? So I will be covering everything, don't you worry. But yes, multi-vehicle AAs is one of the best features. Having a radar in a different vehicle is a very limiting factor when you are trying to add new AA systems to the game. So having that opens up the floor for many other options. And in one patch, we already, with the teaser, can confirm that 3 of them will be added, right? The Iris-T, the Slam RAM, whatever it's called, and also, of course, the SLM, right? The Iris-T SLS and SLM, sorry. But yeah, so amazing. Of course, the second one, I have to talk about the Comanche. A lot of people were asking me to talk about this, that there were technically 2 variants or 2 ideas behind the Comanche, that one was going to use a radar, one would not, or something similar to that. I saw some people talking about that. And yes, now we have the confirmation that the Comanche that will come to the game will be the one that has the radar, right? So it is pretty interesting to have that, and it doesn't change much from the aircraft itself. It will be the same aircraft, but of course the radar itself is very interesting because it is basically a mini longbow radar, right? So it's supposed to be a very good radar. So knowing that, we already know that it is going to be a very capable aircraft. You can already see, of course, in the trailer as well, that it is launching 6 Hellfires. This will be the main loadout that you take. This thing, to not be you know, less stealthy than it was supposed to, it doesn't take a lot of missiles, okay? If it actually there were some plans, I don't know if they actually, you know, tested these, but there are, you know, kind of other types of wings that could be added there to introduce more missiles if he wants to be less stealthy. But the idea here is that apparently it will be 6 Hellfires with the longbow radar. So yeah, we know that it's going to be the radar. It's gonna have the radar, sorry, which is pretty cool. Then we have to talk about AAs again, because I think this will be one of the main things of the patch. Of course, we have to talk about ships and stuff, but I will talk about those ships once the patch is actually on its dev server, okay? But the talking a little bit more about AA systems, the third thing that we know now is that the US is gonna receive a proper AAs like the other nations. So yes, there were a lot of people complaining that most of the leaks, I mean, I know they're just leaks, but normally the stuff that are in those leaks, people just know that they are going to come, and normally things that are not in the leaks, it's unlikely that we will see it, but sometimes happens, and this is one of the examples. So when you see something on a leak, always have in mind that some stuff maybe it isn't there, and it will be added anyway, right? That the leakers don't know about or don't want to share right now. So yeah, the Slam RAM is one of them, right? So the Americans are going to receive one, and I'm gonna do a proper video on it, you know, showing the capabilities of this. But guys, I mean, it's kind of interesting to see something like this, because it's not like the US is in the most dire need of a new AA, but it would be kind of weird that the objective is kind of to fight the Russians with their Panzer, right? To have a comparable AA system that would come for the Swedish, for the Germans, maybe for the Japanese, maybe for the Israelis, according to leaks and everything. So it would be weird to not have something for the US, especially such an iconic vehicle as this Slam Ram, right? This vehicle, of course, will have apparently the AIM-120, but also the AIM-9X. Yes, the AIM-9X was in the trailer. So yeah, if you are an American main, you shall rejoice, because the US will have a proper AA system. How good these will be, we have to wait. But I think they will be better than a Panzer, in my opinion. The fourth thing is a little bit of a naval thing. I'm just gonna pass around. Like I said, I'm gonna properly talk about these things when the dev server is out. But guys, this is going to be the ultimate test for naval, since, of course, the player base of naval is way smaller than the other ones. So if these ships don't get attention, what will, right? So the ships that I think they are adding, the Yamato, the Bismarck, the Iowa, even the Sovietsky Soyuz, the Richelieu that a lot of people love, even the Roma, man. All of these ships, you know, people from these nations love these ships. Even if it's, oh, it's a Roma, it's not the Bismarck or whatever, it is still liked by, you know, for many reasons, these ships, no matter what, right? And one thing that you have to understand is that this is the main flagship, literally, of why you should maybe grind, you know, the ship tech trees to get these battleships. These are the ones that everybody loves. These are the ones that it doesn't matter if you like or hate ships, you at least respect these ships, right? So if these ships don't get attention, if these ships don't get the player base to get bigger, I think Gaijin will need to rework a little bit of some stuff. This is only my opinion, of course. Maybe they have a plan and maybe it's fine the way that it is. I don't know. I don't play too much of ships, so it's kind of a broader kind of opinion over here. But I believe that if this is a proper test, if they really need to change the game modes themselves, probably, because is in Brazilian, jeez, my brain, oh my god. But because, I mean, these are the ships, right? So this is supposed to bring the most amount of players. So if this doesn't do that, problem, okay? And the last thing is the next generation of IR missiles. Now we can kind of confirm that multiple missiles like this will come, even the A9X, right? So not for air, but still they are coming. So there are some reasons why testing these missiles on ground vehicles is the perfect decision. And, you know, since basically we need a counter to CAS right now, especially in nations that are not in the with the usage of the Panzer, right? So three things are created here: a test platform for when Gaijin wants to actually add these missiles to jet. So they're basically gonna finance and properly make these missiles work before adding them for aircraft. This adds also better AAs for everybody to defend themselves, obviously. And with that in mind, in the future, the possibility of adding more types of weapons and missions, like the seed for normal matches as well, right? You know, missiles and stuff. So at the end of the day, guys, the next generation of IR missile being here for ground vehicles only is not a bad thing. Actually, it is the perfect testing ground for the addition of these missiles for air in the future, right? So yeah, indeed, it's not only the IRIS-T that it's being added, but also A9Xs and some others maybe. Let's wait and see, because we have, of course, the leak of the Israeli one, right, with Python 5. So we're gonna have to wait and see, but at the end of the day, it feels like something that makes sense, you know, so it is pretty interesting, isn't it? And these are the 5 things that we learned from the teaser, right? 5 things that are more hidden in between the lines, but 5 things that I think are you know, very interesting to think about. Of course, 3 of them are about AAs, because I think this will be one of the main things about the patch. Of course, having a Mitsubishi F2 is amazing in the update, an L39, stuff like that. But I think the 2 main game changer things is new generation of IR missiles, multi-vehicle AAs. That's the main thing. Of course, bigger ships, you know, the Comanche, stealth helicopters, stuff like that is cool, but these 2 things, mechanic and the new gen of IR, is the main 2 things that really put this patch of being just a normal patch of being one of the best, you know. So very cool, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. Always helps a lot. Of course, if you want to, again, you can help the channel with the PayPal down in the description for the new GPU. We have the goal, if you want to help, is there. See you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, and bye.